Out of here for another year. I know you're waiting on that day. You can get the key and get the fuck out of here. Somebody you know what you be dancing. You always give me love. Talk about the house of the Lord. Get everybody real familiar with what's going on in the esoteric world when they start to talk about certain scriptures and other things of that nature. And you know, if you're on the Dull Little Pilot Man channel and you want to join the chat or the case may be, you're gonna have to click the link, the Archangel Uriel page. And I'm about to start doing this a lot more often too, especially when I get into the context of building somebody else's channel, because you know, with the StreamYard thing and that nature, where I'm able to connect all my social media apps. So eventually y'all about to start seeing me go live on all my social media pages. But it's about to be still me looking at y'all. So it ain't like I'm on two different phones. So, you know, starting next week, y'all about to start seeing a live stream on this channel, that channel, IG, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all running at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. And then whoever channel I start building, your channel gonna be a part of that also. So it'll be a faster way to build your channel also, as far as when I start building this little superhero conduct and consort circumstance and situation. Now, but beyond that, right now, this video right here, this live stream is going to be about understanding how to become a lord of your life, how to see the light of your life. Each area of your life represents these houses, and even getting into the context of what we talk about within the Bible to help you understand what they're talking about, even in the Pharaoh days in Egyptian time, when they say the Pharaoh of a house, or, you know, the Betha, or the receiving end. Once we start to get into Jewish mysticism and things of that nature, and the Kabbalah tree of life, each Sephiroth being developed based upon the space is relatively in and things of that nature. So the Sephiroth represent, or the monad represent, the actual space that corresponded that energy out of it and things of that nature. So this takes us into the mentality of deity and entity, where there's an entity and it can be inside of a form, which we're deifying, calling deity. So when you get into deism, these will be people who think that there was an entity that's no longer intervening with the deity or the physical realm of reality that it created in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, anyone who's a deist is low-key mentally retarded. But at the same time, it just helps you understand these are the concepts that men and women are coming up with in order to understand as above, so below, as within, so without, which is astrology, astronomy, anatomy. You see what I'm saying? Real simple. Astrology, right brain. Astronomy, left brain. Anatomy, your body. So always bring it down as a three cipher, a three-dimensional cipher, and that's how you could bring fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional understandings to be able to correspond it into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, that you could be in a position to teach somebody some spiritual metaphysics or some actual science. You see what I'm saying? Because once upon a time, these was the same thing when it didn't have all the baggage and people utilizing it for their own ego and things of that nature started to develop. So Uriel is just here to wake up all the spirits to remind y'all to go back to the time before all the baggage and the men ruler ego narcissism developed. And therefore, now you're able to obtain your own power and know where you may have got lost as a tribe and know how to get back on track as a tribe. Because a lot of us had good gifts and talents, and that was our fall. Being too lost into the Jewish allegory of them making up the concept of what it means for Lucifer, and how old rulers who had good gifts and talents that may have spit negatively via words and expression towards Jews to make them look at individuals who in rulership like you can't be using so much of your gifts and talents without no form of discipline. But once it get played out through the subjective lens of the Jew and things of that nature, this when they can start to be mentally superior also in areas where the average individual who got gifts and talents but not receiving their own order will be able to get hit blindsided from still needing someone in a way of a psychological perspective, other than being able to understand that for yourself, because you're too lost into the world based upon your gifts and talents. So it's a gift and curse to everything, but you have to have true equilibrium to be able to see things from that perspective. Thank you so much for the donation, Myra. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. It's my flight day all month. You know what I'm saying? And whatever sign anybody is, man, it be y'all flight day all month. Just when it reached the degree, that's the specific point of time. But for all Tauruses, it's gonna be y'all flight day all month. The sun, y'all the Canaanite gods. Aries is the Yahweh gods. Gemini is the Sodom and Gomorrah gods. Uh um Cancers is the Noah Ark gods. You know what I'm saying? Leos is the tribe of Judah gods. You know what I'm saying? Virgos is the Napatati gods. Libra is the Ma'at gods. You know what I'm saying? Or in the Bible, tribe of Seth gods. Some whole lot, because a lot of these Egyptian names are still in the Bible too, because it's all Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Sekhmet is the Scorpio is the Sekhmet god, or the Scorpio king, or the Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? Sagittarius is the half man, half horse god, or the mermaid, or the arch, or the bow. So anytime you hear a story about man springing off an arch or a bow or whatever like that, that's just the sun going through Sagittarius. So when we're breaking, thank you so much for the donation, Sensei Clouds. Pardon me. So in Egypt time, that would be happy, Happi. You know what I'm saying? That would be them explaining Osiris after death, going through happy, aka Sagittarius, or Catholicism, Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, or in Jewish mysticism, Jupiter, or Jew, or June, or July. You know what I'm saying? A lot of concepts correlated around the energy, Zeus and Jesus and Jesus and things of that nature. And you know, the prophet, aka the council train of thought that they brought to the community within that same oral tradition practice of anthropomorphizing objects outside of us after they have already manipulated what's outside of us and made it Superman like. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, getting into the understanding of the houses, this will help you understand every time you see the house in the Bible. And it's the sun going through each discipline, each disciple. Thank you so much for the donation, Simon Steffens. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. Oh, so you right after me, 23 degrees. So happy flight day. Get ready to come to you. You know what I'm saying? We ain't that far away. We in two different decons, but you on the cusp of my decon and going into your decon, the chakra asterism. So you the Jupiterian Aries, like I'm a sun charismatic Aries, like, because I'm in the 10 through 20, so I'm 17 degrees. So I land in the part that's ruled by Leo and the sun. You land in the Aries decon, the chakra asterism of the one that's ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter. So you like to be wise, you like to be expanded. You don't even really care about people or attention that much. You care more about money, you know, more about stability. You care more about the structure, being a boss or something. You know what I'm saying? Let somebody else be the face on the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? That's the Kourtney Kardashian energy, the Suge Knight energy. You know what I'm saying? Suge Knight, he'd rather be the boss. Let Snoop Dogg be the, you know what I'm saying? Let Tupac be the, you know what I'm saying? Let Dr. Dre make all the beats. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure the money come back here. You know what I'm saying? That's those Sagittariuses. I mean, that's those Aries. The 20 through 0 degrees of Taurus, and the 20 starting at 20 degrees Aries. That's dumb Tauruses. I mean, that's dumb Aries. They're ruled by Jupiter and Sagittarius. So they go extreme, expand. They don't care about all the goofiness the first two decons Aries give a care about. Like sometimes I gotta remind myself to care more about money. I might care more off the feeling, the expression, and saying no money was made. So sometimes I gotta get advice from the next decon of Aries. What's that? Real stuff. Oh shit, that's what I forgot too. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my other lighter real quick. 1 second. All right. All right. Antelopes. All right. So yeah. So getting into the houses. So like anytime you see houses in the Bible, right? Now look, say you hear something like, because it's always going to be like the houses of the Lord. So say you hear things like, okay, the Lord brought us wheat. The Lord brought us wheat. The Lord brought us bread. If you understand the mathematics of the Bible and the allegories, it's explaining the sun, the Lord, going through the house of Virgo or the Virgin at the moment. And therefore, it's just an allegory of how they was conveying the message to us as we're experiencing fall time. How we experiencing fall time. How we experiencing, and they gave that like ceremonies and things of that nature. So here's where we get terms like the feast or the Passover and things of that nature. So they like kind of like celebrate Passovers kind of like 2 times out of the year because they really like to do nighttime worship, you know, right after 4 p.m. in the afternoon going into 6 p.m. and also like the moon phases and stuff like that. So the Passover got 2 representations. When the sun get back in Aries, aka it have the waters has passed back over and we're getting ready to experience spring and summer again for the next flood, Noah's Ark. And then for the most part, there's another Passover for the lower horizon, things below the horizon. And that's anytime the sun pass over from the Virgin, another version of something, aka Virgo season, and then go into Libra or fall or Adam fallen. And then for the most part, that's another Passover to take us to the below the horizon. So anytime you hear the term Passover, it means just that, something passing over. But if you don't know oral tradition and know what they're pointing at, you're going to be thinking it means something else. No, it has something to do with the arch. This is how they're making the language, the words, the cuneiforms, and everything. So when we experience it above the horizon, spring and summer, the spring equinox and the summer solstice, that's the first Passover, right? So we're able to see the arch above us. So we call it the esoteric rainbow or the royal arch. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call myself Royal Archangel Uriel. Then you have the next Passover to the next phase below the horizon, from fall to winter, Libra to Capricorn. You see what I'm saying? Ma'at to I forget the name of the Capricorn one in Egypt. But at the same time, you know, when God gets his crown or whatever the case may be, when they start to talk about the goat or the billy goat or get ready to go into the man pouring out water and going into the fish and things of that nature, which is these are just concepts of the sun or anthropomorphized concepts of what they think that the sun is going through based upon them deifying it and calling it God and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? For them to justify the law that they have been passed down to obtain discipline and be able to run a country or community. So the second Passover, so it's just really like 2 Passovers. The Passover, the sun passing over into the higher horizon, above the horizon. That's us experiencing the rainbow. If we draw it out on the ground and you know how to track the sun yourself, not be lost in the world and let Google tell you about the world, go outside so you can know where they was starting at. There's only a handful of conclusions they can even come to make up what they're making up. That's what you have to understand it from that perspective. And you'll know the first Passover is spring to summer. Then we see a horizon. If you keep track of that, because by the end of the summertime, if you kept track of that on a cuneiform or a hieroglyphic, it actually makes the rainbow that we could make square out and make a 180-degree line from that perspective, because things move in direct and round. So when we square out the circle, it helps us understand the mathematics of it, or straighten a curve out. And then for the most part, the next Passover is going to be once we stop experiencing summer and the sun pass over into its death, aka fall and winter time. So we don't need to extremely, like I said, astrology is just basically religion without the pseudo. But all the pseudo is what help people with their emotional state, which is why their arguments can't go further than that. It just helps them with their but they don't understand their emotional state was damaged by something based on their living conditions and something outside of these science and Bibles that they're utilizing. So like naturally they don't understand because they need a mental crutch and they don't understand it's a mental illness. But like actually all they do is self-reflect anytime they push the need of telling someone else they need this religion or tell someone else they need this science. This should be something that you just utilize for yourself. The moment you're pushing it off to others, you're actually just going to be explaining or teaching the things that helped you, and the things that helped you didn't even necessarily have anything to do with the religion or the science. The reason you got into these things because you was already damaged and experiencing something in your life, or already going to jail too much, or already thinking you need to change your life based upon guilt. And these things you got into is just the best representations that can help you gain concealment with yourself and confinement with yourself and things of that nature. But the moment you go out and try to teach that to others, like that's the actual method, then you're Western hemisphered out with some type of Jesuit intellect that they have gave you in order to defend what they have already created to have everybody puppets anyway. So it really don't go no further than that from a psychological perspective, but you can still argue for what you argue for. But I'm just telling you, if it don't lead to anything else but, oh, it just helped me with my mind and my heart, is that should, as far as it should go anyway. You shouldn't be online trying to debate it. That's what makes you a Satan. That's what makes you a fool. It has nothing to do with your deep belief in something and what puts you on a path, which is demonic in itself, but whatever sets you on a path to make you feel like you have to go spread this word to others. All of these are crafted by other men and women for you to even think what you're doing, negative or positive. I missed the Waffle House for some reason. I don't know what I'm saying. Hey, we got a Waffle House here, but it feels more comfortable going to it in Atlanta. I don't feel comfortable going to it here. You know what I'm saying? It's weird too. I ain't gonna get into all that. I'm saying because I don't care about that kind of energy. Different areas when you start to reach on outskirts of urban areas and stuff like that. Like, I try to stay, race free in my spirituality and my context. So let me not get into, what I'm saying, certain areas how they think, and once you come in with a certain energy and vibe, things switch up. No, I'm saying, so let me go ahead. Like, I'd rather go to a Waffle House in Atlanta. Just let me leave it there. Let me leave it there. You know what I'm saying? Got no time for no goddamn it. What they call that one movie, some in the middle of Western. So I forgot what the movie's called. You know what I'm saying? We got the chainsaw. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw. I ain't got no time for that kind of be feeling them type of vibes. Like it's some like leather-faced dude about to hop out the back and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's they family Waffle House. Yo, I ain't got time for all that. I ain't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? I like to just match the vibes, and if I feel the good vibe, then that's that. Once I feel a vibe, I don't need to spend no money at that Waffle House either. You know what I'm saying, bro? And we're gonna leave it there. That ain't the house of the Lord. That Waffle House ain't the house of the Lord. The Waffle House in Ohio ain't the house of the Lord. I'm gonna keep it 100 right there, and then we're gonna leave it there. Back to the live stream. You know what I'm saying? So like I say it, when we started talking about the houses, right? Anytime the sun is in another house, it brings another energy. And they have came up with thousands of ways of conveying this message. In Egypt time, they had the phallic religion, where they thought it was, you know what I'm saying, the phallic, and going into the houses was the woman womb. And then every time the spermacell of the universe gets spread, and that was just their way of conveying the message of the birth of new seasons in you. And then for the most part, we started to get more updated with it as far as the shadow government and them utilizing the oral tradition and things of that nature. And then now we got more clear ways to break it down all the way down to astrology right now, where it's all of that without the pseudo. So, but it's basically the same thing. So without the pseudo, because they've been trying to separate religion from government and things. They already canceled the discovery of doctrine and things of that nature. So that's like, they're trying to separate religion and state and stuff like that, so people can have the freedom to think what they want, because the government know that they kind of made a mistake not clearly explaining these things to the sheep mind anyway. So all these sheep minds coming up with these original thoughts of things being plagiarized, or this religion being the true religion, or God, like they realize they messed up by the world being so lost like that and things of that nature. So at some point they just like, man, we can't come to everybody's door and knock on everybody's door. We ain't into hanging everybody upside down on crosses anymore. So let's just go ahead and create something that suit everybody and still have them do what we doing. So it's basically non-denominational, denominational, all these different contexts that y'all still have to utilize their language, whether know how far you go back to be able to understand. So they just like know they messed up, and it's almost like putting up an esoteric chemtrail, or putting up some esoteric water pipes to make you pay for a water bill, where you're not actually paying for water, you paying for the actual system it's going through to clean out the clutter, because they already made a mistake. And a lot of y'all that walk around and open y'all mouth is like a living, walking version of their mistake, without y'all knowing it sometimes. But you got to have that broad mind to be able to put yourself in that perspective. Um, Thank you so much for the donation, Hector. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, I'm finna get down and break down everybody's houses and planets and stuff like that. I just wanted to, is we 12 minutes in yet? I can't tell on here. Oh yeah, we're 20 minutes in. Yeah, because for the most part, I just wanted to help you understand what does it mean in the Bible first, so you get your mind right. So to help you understand how the Jews was conveying the message to the individuals back then, to let you know that we're getting ready to talk about the same thing, just without the pseudo. So you actually understand the spirituality of it, and you actually understand the purpose. So whatever was made pseudo is not over exaggerated and is seen in its proper context, and it can be useful in your actual life. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind too, because that's the whole point, bringing spirituality to the physical. How well can you utilize a speculative, magical thinking, anthropomorphized concept to what you see in reality, even if you have to fake it till you make it at times, if you're doing things from God's perspective. You know what I'm saying? All right. So peep gang. Now, based upon this, this is revelation, basically, right? Because, you know, things get revealed to you. So this is what they're actually talking about when it comes to divine revelation. That it's an actual practice. That's what people don't understand. Also, I can argue with a theologian utilizing apologetics all day due to the fact of them coming up with a witchcraft behind receiving divine revelation or things of that nature. And when you break it down and actually practice that for yourself, divine revelation is a self thing. It's not something that multiple people have in similar. One person who receive a divine revelation is going to be very different than someone else who receive another divine revelation, because it's really just you receiving the purpose of your life and your ability to teach that as being a personal testimony. So everybody's testimony is different. So that's why you need 3 or 4 witnesses, aka who have been passed down the law, so we could create a all, aka a God, aka a government for all minds to be up under in some way, shape, or form, which is the anthropomorphized concept of that. So anytime an individual or a group of individuals that was passed down the law as witnesses to be able to agree with each other, they could take that same tactic and ability and put that amongst a community, amongst others who may not necessarily know how to do that within their own huts. So at the same time, this was early Gilder stages of energies and things of that nature. But for the most part, this is what it actually means when you're receiving a divine revelation. You actually receive a purpose, and that purpose look ordered and disciplined. So that means you was received the law as above, so below. You was observant, not lost into the world. So that discipline that you received as the law could turn into as within, so without. Something you could practice, see the confirmation, go get another witness, see their own personal divine revelation working out as discipline to them. But you know what's good for you may not be good for someone else. So you and them other individuals as witnesses come into an agreement. It's the whole concept of a council, which is who the individuals who's passed down the law, which they prophetic prophesy what's going to come to be, utilizing this intellectual property that they have came up to be, which help you understand prophets are a different word for a council prophesying that their allegory is going to come to be true for their country or their covenant. So prophecy is not necessarily speaking something or telling a future. It's actually speaking something or speaking life into something and acting out that order and actually seeing the confirmation of if that disciplinary order is actually sufficient or not. And if it is sufficient, you could justify it whatever you want. If you created the cuneiform, the language and the words and the meanings behind the things that the sheep mind, who's not able to do that for themselves, for them to understand, that's called a tree. So for the most part, you had to call it the tree. You had to understand and put the logic meaning behind it. So you was the one who understood discipline. So you was passed down the law. That's the allegory of meaning, passing down the law. You seen the discipline. Another person don't even care what that is. They hang on it. You know what I'm saying? They pluck from it. They cut it down before understanding the productive ways to utilize it after you cut it down. This is a dope. This would be someone who don't understand order. So before we even called it a tree, you can see which one is going to come up with the conclusion to come and give it a name and separate that from the individual, you know, that would never give it a name and just be looking at it and be lost into this world. And therefore, these are the early stages of who's going to be a gilder and who's going to be a sheep mind before all the baggage and the bias and the narcissism was added onto it, due to the fact that we in a whole world right now full of something that needs to be ordered and structured. You know what I'm saying? So it's the whole context of the as above, so below, which is another context of why Uriel here. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they describe me as being dark or evil or face paint or ruler to Taurus, because when they followed the star to the west, right? They came on the more western lands. They was praying so much of things of that nature, and then whatever that they was on my mind became my fart cloud and things of that nature to summon me here on the Western Hemisphere in America by England and Russia and all them. As far as my summoning lineage, the bloodline that they were summoning with the mind state to bring me here, and go back to Russia and all, I don't want to get into all that right now. But for the most part, for them to follow the sun, that's as above, more on the Western Hemisphere, that spark off the fall, and it being even day, even night before you get closer to Antarctica and go more west. So this is my landmass on my 4 cardinal point for me to even be here and things of that nature. Even in that summoning spell, where with a lot of Jews and Masons and Jesuits may not understand what they did, that I would have to tell them because they're a little slow. Thank you so much for the donation. Laj Fast BM 777 TV. Real stuff. So is this helping? We already at the end of time, so we can't just be playing around. We gotta play catch up now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here for everybody, not just for people in the government, the Pope, everybody. Everybody gotta wake up now. It's too late. We gotta like catch up and do what we gotta do. Now look, check this out, right? So giving your life direction, create what we see as revelation, aka the path of your lights being revealed to you. Right. So, the Jews came up with mathematical positions for this, and that's cool for that. You could have came up with this, too, if you went outside and understood these lights for yourself. But for the most part, here's the thing. What's revealed to you is your path all the way down to your birthday, your flight day. Happy flight day. You ain't got the same day, second, minute, or someone else, even when it comes down to a twin. So the way you going to be perceiving things from your observation, being a spirit inside of that, going to be very different than someone else's. Automatically, your path is different just from that perspective. You know what I'm saying? Automatically, your path is separate just from that perspective. So this helps you understand that we're all a fart cloud that was manifested here to do something in some way, shape, or form, or it wouldn't be that way. So based upon everything that you don't have or that you lack, that's the fart cloud that you are to present in the world to teach us how to go about that thing. Not you walking around depressed and never playing out that role. So you're just a dead energy. And then a lot of times, this is how the shadow government look at it, as y'all the walking dead, because the body is the flesh. And if your spirit suit the flesh and do things more for the flesh, especially for the things the shadow government be creating for the flesh, for the most part, you are the living dead. Living spirit inside of it, dead, the form that you inside of. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they look at it also. So all they do is make y'all act out characters and dead characters that spirits that actually did rule, that was in the mind and body, that was here back in those civilizations and stuff like that. And then for y'all to even gain any superiority here, or for y'all to feel like your hard work paying off, 9 times out of 10, you was playing one of their characters, even when you didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? This is why you will never see Uriel in those circumstances, but it's the end of the world based upon Uriel being here, being able to break that down as clear as possible, even to the humans that's doing things like this. They don't understand. You know what I'm saying? They had never thought they had a person explaining this down here like that. That's the thing, too. I feel disrespected at some point. But look, check it out. Right? So giving your life direction. And, we're going to utilize some of their mathematical tricks. And then I'm going to be adding some of mine, because they stole everything from me anyway. But I'm going to be giving y'all some of the mathematical tricks also, how I look at it, so you don't have to always just piggyback on them. But they got a good system, though, as far as the houses and the house lords. So for the most part, here's the thing. Giving your life direction, create what we see as revelation, aka the path of your light, your lights, your chakras, your zodiacs, being revealed to you. AKA, what does that scripture of Joshua actually means, right? For me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. Me as my spirit, being the observer, my houses, each area of my body, as below, as within, as above, so without, the houses that the external sun go through, that we're deifying. And therefore, whatever house is in, we, your spirit and your house, should serve that Lord. So what does that actually mean in Joshua? What this actually means is this. This is what we do anytime. Anyway, when the sun is in the house of Aries, we do Aries-like things. Right now it's spring. Nature is springing back into life. We are feeling like we should be more outdoorsy and things of that nature, or more expressive during this time. This is us serving that light, acting out those energies, being the quote unquote term in the Bible, being a servant. This is what that actually means. Doesn't mean anything else. See what I'm saying? Now, when you take the pseudo from it, then replace the spirituality back into it, now you can see how it do help you spiritually now. Now you can see how it do act disciplined now, because now you're not out of order in your way of acting, especially when it comes to mentally manifesting your dreams, physically, when it's time to act and when it's not time to act. You have some people who can't do that so much throughout the year. These are individuals who are homeless, casted out, isolated, disowned, or black sheep somewhere in the cold, living in a rescue mission or things of that nature. Not to say that's everybody's fault, because the shadow government be putting everybody in these Bible-like circumstances just based on how they built the city with the star formation. But I'm just trying to utilize that as an example to let you know that there's still opportunity out here, and based upon no matter the situation, the lack of a person having or obtaining their own knowledge will still lead them in a situation of being cold at a time where they ain't supposed to be cold, if they're going with the traits mentally and physically of what we're supposed to be doing, as above so below. You see what I'm saying? So it's a deep science into understanding astronomy and astrology without the baggage behind it. There's a lot of, and when I say baggage, that's like fake woke, newspaper astrology, horoscopy astrology. You know what I'm saying? You have a whole makeup. All these planets make up you. For an example, today you have a person hate on astrology, right? But they'll walk outside, be like, man, what's today's energy? And get into NASA and stuff like that. Okay, if somebody was born today, they are a walking version of today's energy going into other days now. So they are walking. So a spirit always could go through other spaces. That's why we got space within space. You got things living in you that you don't control. We're living in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So your spirit always creating forms to mimic what the spirit already doing. So once you create a fart cloud, the day you wanted to become aware, that became your zodiac sign that you inside of as a spirit. Now that energy is a snapshot of that day, a planetary snapshot, fart cloud of that day. So when you go into another day, being a spirit, doing that Lucifer energy, or I only want to be seen this way mentally, then you already made an organ, came down here through a body. Now here's the thing. You want that energy to be seen no matter what day it is. So you are a walking version of that. So every day ain't gonna be your day. Some days it's against you. Some days you got mad oppositions, mad sextiles from other people alignments and the transits in the sky. So how you interact with the day with your own fart cloud, that's what's going on. That's your day's snapshot, and you are a walking version of that day that you always give praise to every time the sun do a full cycle at that day you was originally born at. Is that what I'm saying? So you have to understand it from that perspective before you get lost into, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm a Kemet, I'm a this, oh, astrology, oh, this, that, and third, this pseudo, Madam Kabliski. Wait a minute. First, look at what people are looking at first, so you can cherry pick the right way and you don't be lost into something and arguing for or against something. And you can truly put yourself in a perspective where you can teach all things. Because we're going to talk about all possibilities, because that's what actually God is. The hell with their concept. But all possibilities is all knowing. You fighting one knowing from another knowing ain't the right starting point. That's a polarized energy that you could get lost in, not knowing if you're arguing for or against something. And that's how you become a fool. You're supposed to understand just the perspective of what the conclusions that a spirit came to for to even come to that idea in the first place. Therefore, when you're teaching it, you're able to teach it from a high and a low perspective, percentage level energy, where you're able to see what's good out of it and what's not good out of it, and what was the purpose out of it at all. Was it coming from a narc bias perspective? Was it come from a use another individual perspective? Or was it coming from a foolish perspective because the fool just needed their own emotional state to be taken care of? And once you get that space, you're teaching without a bias, and you're teaching from all ladder scales. So you have no choice but to be all branded. You can't be calcified in no community, no single group of people or audience and things of that nature. You have no choice but to create connection with all races, all ages, all walks of life, because we all go, this is what we're all doing spiritually. So anytime you tap into that world, it don't matter your specific walk of life, wherever your observation of attacking it and explaining it and teaching it, always going to be relative to everybody's walk of life individually. Because we're all reaching a one area, and that lets you know that you're closer to God and you're bringing other people closer to God. You know what I'm saying? All possibilities. Where anytime you create a circumstance where it's one come all come one, not no expectation, no bias, no limited, no small community and separated from another community. If you're lost into that, you're giving more power to a community, and they didn't even, that race or community didn't even receive that power to do it for themselves. Both of y'all got witchcraft to argue against each other in some way, shape, or form, to play out that superiority role by people who sitting at a table that look like it's a whole bunch of planets on it and stuff like that. Remember, this is the PBS channel though. You know what I'm saying? But got a table that look like it's a whole bunch of the Samsung Galaxy phone and Apple phones on it and stuff like that. And none of them picking up no rifles. So y'all need to start thinking about that a little bit, instead of y'all fighting each other all the time, not understanding things. Real stuff. Now let's get into these actual astrology without the baggage. Let's get into this religion without the baggage. Let's get into this pseudo without it being pseudo. So you can understand the right brain, spiritual, astrology, speculative, and the left brain, astronomy, operative, and astronomy, operative, and logical, physical. So you got the left brain, operative, physical, science, astronomy. Temperature. You got the right brain, spiritual, speculative, astrology, right? And temperament. So we got a temperament, and that creates temperature. So this takes us into density levels and things of that nature. Because when anytime there's a conjunction or stellium, aka as above, planets in one area, as below, all of us in a cafeteria, whether it's the winter time or not, temperament will arise. People will get hot. So that's right brain, spiritual, astrology, right? Speculative. Now, left brain, we actually get to see the event being played out. Astronomy, the temperature of it. As above, so without, spring, summertime, as within, as within, as below. We might, people might start arguing and fighting in the cafeteria before we go to first period. Y'all get it? We're doing these things. You gotta have a spiritual light to see existence through, to be able to understand it though. But we're doing these things from right brain, left brain. If you got equilibrium, you're able to see it. So other spirits got this ability too. But when you have equilibrium, now you can see the handful of ways. So now that's why I say it's more important to understand technology other than scientific methods and stuff like that. Because when you get into it within this concept, you will see a lot of times scientists and stuff be using this against y'all. Understand it though, but we're doing these things from. You know what I'm saying? They use that shit against y'all, or that stuff against y'all. You're able to see it. Hold on, I had a point. Like to see existence through, to be able to understand it. But when you have equilibrium, now you can see the handful of ways. Yeah, that's what I mean. Science will use this against y'all. What do I mean when you don't have equilibrium? Spirits who know how to do what I just explained, they'd do this and have the world for sale. So then you won't understand the concept of their version of the right brain, speculative, spiritual, astrology, Lucifer, and the right brain, and then the left brain, operative, astronomy, and universe. So when a person say Lucifer and universe is the shadow government way of still rocking you to sleep with their yin yang spell, Lucifer, right brain, astrology, religion, speculatism, spiritual, left brain, universe, science, operative, astronomy, temperature, longitude, love, linguistics, language, you know what I'm saying? The lizard brain, left brain, logic, man, atom. You would think I'm putting words together and playing semantics and think I'm being pseudo. Yet I got these words from the individuals who taught us this, and they all make correspondences. So it must be the space that they are in. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, before you want to pick one or the other, we supposed to believe in science, or are we supposed to believe in religion? To Archangel Uriel, that's just basically you saying, you believe in Lucifer or the universe. That's one of the same thing. They got y'all all lost in light. And there is no such thing as a floating light ball who been here at the beginning of the time. Do you understand me? All right, I forgot I had a link. I'm about to start adding people right now. Let me go ahead and let me finish this lecture to get everybody on the level so you can know when you click the link what question to ask me, because I don't want to hear nobody teach. So for the most part, what question you're going to ask me is you're going to tell me what house you got, and once I break this down, you're going to understand what I'm going to break down to you, because we're going to be breaking down how to direct your life, how to be the Lord of your life, how to be the light, how to be the flight of your life, for your life can take flight in all things. So let's go back. Let me run this down so I can start adding people. Now, giving your life direction, create what we see as your revelation, aka the path of your lights being revealed to you. First house, where you should find yourself to be. Now remember, we're talking about it in the alchemist perspective. So we're not just explaining your first house, we're explaining what you should do with your first house, wherever the planet that rules your first house is at. So that's going to be your house lord. For an example, if you got Libra ascendant, your first house, Venus rules your first house. So wherever Venus is at, let's say Venus is in the 10th house, you need to take the first house energy and act that out in the 10th house through the lens of the energy of Venus. And that's how you see what's being revealed to you, and what's going to be revealed to you is your revelation. You manifesting things more in your favor than not in your favor through that energy of the 10th house and the first house, or whatever the case may be. So you can do it, but it's good to know what you're doing. If you know the ruler is Venus, right? You know that you have to use the Venus energy too, though. Not just be like, oh, my first house ruler is the Lord of it is Venus, and it's in the 10th house. So I got to do the first house energy in the 10th house, and you ain't even doing the 10th house energy in the Venus way, though. So you got to take the first house, do it in the 10th house in the Venus way, though. And if you don't do it in the Venus way, you might still get certain attributes, but it won't be to this full potential. You'll still meet certain mistakes, because it'll be certain other energies you're still more familiar with. So you'll be using planets and other houses and other energies to try to get that done. So the full obtaining of the focus won't be received well. You might get some in a more angry way where it was supposed to be Venus. You might get some in a more logical way where it was supposed to be Venus. You might get something in a more experience, wisdom way when it was supposed to be Venus, aka you was using too much Mars, Mercury, or Jupiter at that time. You see what I'm saying? But you were still focused on that house due to the fact of it being your house lord. So when you get into this, you're actually able to know what you're already doing in a better way without making so many mistakes, while still being aware that you low-key already doing these things on a small percentage level. You just now you got more confirmation to go for it without manifesting your mind being in positions to make outcomes like mistakes, because you're not sure what you're doing. Anytime you're sure what you're doing, you're that much more confident, even when you're going through rejection. But anytime your mind is still on a path where it's more confirmation and satisfaction, you're always able to still get the best out of a situation. And even negative situations are gifts also, because you're able to be like, I'm glad I went through that, because I wouldn't be in this situation now. So you always maintain a godly goal. That show God you a strong spirit, not no weak spirit waiting around crying because you ain't get the right validation about something. God don't like them kind of spirits, because they've been there, done that. Them spirits in that all possibility space, they don't want no spirits around them that's still dealing with things they done been there, done thousands and thousands of times over and over again. And I'm Archangel Uriel. I'm stuck down here right now, and y'all see how I act to humans. So just take how I act to them spirits and add 10 times plus X Super Saiyan Volume 4, 80 plus Swiss beats on the turntables, and then you gonna know what I'm talking about. Then you ain't gonna care too much about people cursing and stuff like you. That's gonna be petty stuff. You're gonna really get to some real fight with the spirit after that. All that petty stuff, you're gonna realize that ain't nothing worth. I'm lost in the world arguing about stupid stuff like that and language and people cursing and stuff like that. Then you'll be able to separate the difference between, because it ain't what we do, is how we do it. We all doing the same thing. You will be able to separate the message between a person who just cursing for the sake of being stupid and a person who cursing, but they got a real meaning behind it. All the way down to you'll be able to be able to receive wisdom from a person who a bum at the bus station and a person who got $1 million, and be able to separate two people with $1 million, which one got wisdom, and two people who bum at that bus station and which one got wisdom. And therefore you got true equilibrium at that point. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You with the gods at that point. Ain't no human tell you nothing at that point. And don't let them either, because it's only going to throw you off. You're supposed to be the one doing all the teaching. God, children is put here to teach, not follow. See what I'm saying? So when we get communities, God's children make all teachers. So it becomes a community. like subconscious community, where a group of people just reminding each other what we already know. It becomes that. Anytime it becomes ego, narcissistic, y'all always see those civilizations crash. And people who practice that crumb-wise, because they just sheep-minded, we see how they don't ever get too far with it. And that's how I go in life. Always look at things from equilibrium. Now look. So since I broke that down, we're talking about the path of the house. So something can be revealed to you, which becomes your revelation. So first house, where you should find yourself to be. So whatever your house sign is, the ruler of that house, wherever house it land in, even if it land in that same house, that's letting you know. And we'll break that down too. Second house, right? Where you should find your values and talents. See, a lot of y'all be trying to follow your parents, follow other people who got their things going. The reason why I was so successful for them, because their energy was already led into that. Now, look, remind you, all jobs and stuff, the way the shadow government made it, is going to fall in any of these houses. So we all doing the same thing. So what we do is how we do it. That's the key. Sometimes in life, without understanding these things, it means we lack knowledge. So we experience perishing moments, aka trying to do something but fail. And a lot of times the depression comes from or not doing it as well. And the depression comes from compare and contrast, validity, being validated or invalidated, looking at other individuals reach a certain situation that we want to get to, being hyped off Walt Disney and stuff, and then acting out those ways and it not working for us sufficiently, and then us having to isolate ourselves from all that damaged feelings. When you start to obtain a little bit of knowledge, you won't perish. Those are perishing circumstances. That's those allegories. When you start to understand we're all doing the same thing and what we do is how we do it, now you're on a better godly search. You in search on, oh, I can still do the same thing, but the point is how I do it. And I've been trying to do it like what's been set as an example, and what I've been giving my eggs as a basket into what I've been claiming as the best example via people, places, and things, or this commercial that Walt Disney just promoted. So now that you retract from that a little bit, you could be like, okay, I can still be inspired to do that. But the whole purpose is I have to do it my own way. Now you're not scared of going through rejections and things of that nature and opposition, because you know that these are the circumstances that you need to be able to know what to adjust or not, and still have enough strength so you have a testimony and you have reputation that got accumulated from those experiences. Because there's no such thing as getting from point A to point B, point C if you ain't even experiencing. You know what I'm saying? That's why you could become a boxer, get your butt whooped way more than someone to be like, I'm gonna get my butt whooped, so I don't even want to be a boxer. Yet you got your butt whooped so many times, you still end up becoming a boxer, and you could teach the person who never jumped into it in the first place how to be it, whether they sat from a distance and look at you as a fool or not, all the way to them to see you get that Mayweather check for them to turn around later on in life. Now, I know that was a dumb example. I'm just making this, you could point that to anything in your life, though, being a male or female. But I'm just helping y'all understand, when you don't let a person persuade you based upon still not accumulating, that don't mean nothing. When you're on godly mission, you know when you fail in certain areas that you're trying to reach your goal, it's only adding more fuel for you to even be better. See what I'm saying? So don't let no outside influence direct you from that. Now, so second house, right? Where you should be finding your values and talents. A lot of y'all sometimes got a gift for talent, but you don't know where to find how you do it. So, you know, I got to congratulate the Jews on this one. You know what I'm saying? This is a good one right here. This is a good tool right here. Knowing your second house lord. When you try to do something, that's how you find how you do it. Wherever the planet at that rules your second house, whatever house is in. So when you start participating, using the energy of your second house in the house that the planet that rules your second house is in, you're going to start manifesting situations, whether negative or positive. But these situations you experience going to show you your gifts and talents. For an example, you might always wanted to make music and stuff like that, but you was trying to sing and can't never realize why you don't got the voice, right? But instead of letting that stop you from trying to sing anymore, right? Let's say you know this knowledge now. Now you're like, oh, it ain't what I'm doing, it's how I do it. So now you know how to present yourself when you go to the studio now. You might realize that you better at engineering. So instead of you preventing yourself before you lack this knowledge and then stop going to the studio, now you still went to the studio and still found your talent, your gift and talent, and still able to make money in the music business. So you didn't allow you not singing well prevent you from stopping going to the studio. You still was in that energy because your planets are still there, but someone taught you this is a tool now. So now you're like, oh, so even rejection, that don't mean nothing. I'm supposed to go there and experience rejection. What else I'm supposed to see here and stuff like that. Then certain positive energies and rejections energies when you're going there with this new mission, because you now know what you're doing now. Every time we got confirmation to give us courage, you end up developing the other capability. You never knew you knew how to engineer. Boom. Now, boom, you still there. You're still in the box now. You see what I'm saying? You still found your gift and talent without letting the external world persuade you, because now you don't lack knowledge no more. You know what I'm saying? Because real stuff, like I did this, I don't talk about nothing unless I do things for myself. You know what I'm saying? Now from the hood, the way I look, everything, the way life is, ain't no way I got time to be into the things I'm into. So thank God I'm Archangel Uriel. But for the most part, me knowing that, right? Let's say I didn't get into astrology and stuff like that. I might have did it every now and then, but didn't do it to the maximum level. By me getting into astrology and then knowing that, and then knowing my sun in the 9th house, and then my 4th and my 9th house lords is in the 6th house, my Scorpio and my Aries house, Aries 9th house, Scorpio 4th house is ruled by Mars, is in the 6th house. Me knowing these things, I just scratch my head. And you know, I'm an Aries. I like to see if things work or not, or I won't even talk about it. And it's been about 10 years now. I bet not question it. I bet not second question it. God showed me how this worked in all kind of ways, to the point that the average individual that come from where I come from wouldn't even realize, like, when was you into all this? Like, well, why are you into this? Like it's like it throw people off, but this is how I reach my success. So you need to do the same. For an example, my first house lord, Leo ascendant, is my first house ruler is the sun, is in the 9th house, my Aries 9th house. So now that I knew that, I'm like, well, people around me would think what I'm into is stupid, but I'm here to teach. And whatever I'm into, which is predicated on other alignments, I need to go back to this house, sun in the 9th house, and make sure I become a teacher of these things, right? So whether people look at me stupid or not, I ain't supposed to care about that, because this in my chart, I got to do it. And the more rejection and the positive scenarios that I went through throughout the years was just all confirmations as success. So I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that. Then I had to craft it up in other ways. Where's my passion? My Mars. So it's in the 6th house. So I have to take the energies of the Mars ruler to make sure it's at the maximum stage. So in my life, Mars ruler is in my 4th house, Scorpio, and in my 9th house, Aries. Right. So the more I take something from the home that make me comfortable emotionally, and something that I'm learning, wisdom and knowledge, right, and work on it and push it into the 6th house. Mars in the 6th house, Capricorn. Push it in the 6th house. So make it passionate energy and make it as a routine and pattern. So whatever I pull from the 9th house and 4th house, my comfort and my comfort zone and what I do in private, Scorpio type shit, and then my knowledge and wisdom that I'm aggressive of, Aries in the 9th house type shit, and do it as a routine and a pattern in the 6th house. But in Mars-like energy, because those are the planets, but they fall in the 6th house. Do it passionately though. This what ends up happening. Everything I do in the 6th house give benefits to my 4th and my 9th house. And this what y'all see. Y'all see me having a home business, me being able to work from home. All the 6th house, work, health, routine, scheduling, give benefits to my Scorpio 4th house. I'm able to get all the 6th house stuff from the home, family, you know what I'm saying? Or soul family, or from a comfort. I'm able to work from a comfort. You know what I'm saying? Then my 9th house, right? My spirituality, my wisdom, my knowledge is able to make me money, able to be in a routine and pattern. My work, health, routine, and scheduling, 6th house give benefits to my 9th house. It allows me to travel. It allows me to teach. It allows me to put purpose behind things. It allows me to be up here on a routine and pattern looking like a teacher or some goddamn shit. So the 6th house just gave all kind of benefits to my 4th and the 9th house when I did it the right way. You get it? And I'm proof in the pudding. So I'm just, if y'all ain't noticed, now y'all start y'all shit, which we're going to get into. Now look, so this way, even if you're in a geographical location with the weird fart cloud peer pressure of Walt Disney, you know, when you walk outside in the hood or in a suburban area, Soon as you take your breath, all these expectations. Soon as you take that first breath outside, all the expectations. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. I gotta make sure I don't look broke. I gotta make sure I don't look stupid. Oh, I'm depressed. I ain't got this right. All them the fart clouds I'm talking about. That's the weird. You walk out in witchcraft. That's what I'm talking about right there. Soon as you wake up in the morning, it just hits you. Boom, 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 boom. Like we casting over or something like. Well, I think somebody else came up with that first. Troy, yeah, but yeah, boom, 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 boom. I'm saying. So you ain't even got no time to even think for yourself the moment you take the first breath after waking up. To the point that a lot of y'all, especially Pisces and Cancers, you wish you was dreaming a little longer. You wish that alarm clock wasn't going off so fast. I'm at to add Aries in that too. You're Aries too. If you're Aries too, I'm at to add Aries in that too, y'all. I'm at to add, and Sagittarius, I'm at to add y'all on that too. Leos love keeping people on some type of schedule. Virgos love keeping people on some type of schedule. Libras love keeping people on some type of schedule. I'm saying. But yeah, let me get back to this so I can start adding people. But I just be having to break down the knowledge for y'all so y'all could see it for yourself. And so you could be like, all right, I'm about to do this. I don't care. Because that's all God be trying to see. God be needing to see that little flame that y'all be refusing to show. And anytime y'all have a flame, it's only when your spiritual back against the wall. You done already went through a damaged situation. You done already went to jail, got cheated on, or something didn't go right, or got fired, or all your money had to go towards your bill, or something like that. Then that's when that little fire make you get up off that couch and be like, all right, I'm about to do this. I'm about to try this because I ain't tried this before. But don't always let these situations allow you to get to that blood, sweat, and tear moment. Sometimes find joy out of life to get to that blood, sweat, and tear moment. God will give you all kind of blessings, but you'll never be less. Now check me out, right? Now, all right, so let me just run this down. First house, where you should find yourself to be, regardless of your environment, weird fart cloud pressures. Remind you, I gave you my own testimony, and you know who I am. So don't be scared of this for yourself, because some of us is in worse situations than others based upon us having to reap what we sowed. A lot of us grew up like even worse than me, to the point that you got foster parents and they don't really care about you and other type stuff and other type of living conditions and homeless. So like, trust me, a lot of us is in deep. So a lot of us got to go that uphill battle every day more than others. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Thank you so much for the donation, Sunny Nights. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So first house, where you should find yourself to be. Second house, like you might grew up in a foster care and they cast stones at you, talk about you will never be in a spelling bee or something like that. Like it'll be so many energies. You wake up, take the first breath of that fart cloud, and you won't even be able to know how to think about going for your goals. You'll only be doing washed up under the current, going for what's expectations and stuff like that, and being little to that successful magnitude energy. I don't want that for nobody. That's like living for others who ain't shit. All right, but yeah, second house, where you should find your values and talents. Third house, where you should find your crowd. This is why a lot of times y'all be having the wrong friends thinking they go support, and things never lead nowhere. Third house, where you direct that energy at, where you should find your friends, your crowd, your environment, even if it's still in your same location. Sometimes you just be in the wrong places wrong locations and places at the wrong time. You need to find the right time to be there, the right time to be at that library, or if you're low vibrational, the right time to be at that bar. Stop going there when everybody fighting all the time, or stop going to the library when your future partner ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Start learning to go there at maybe noon. Stop going there so early and stuff like that. You might find your future partner. You know what I'm saying? It's like little stuff like that. Oh, this is shadow work. Fourth house, right? Where you should find your home in. Yeah, so home doesn't necessarily have to be a home, but it can manifest as one, especially if you got like a creative gift and talent, but that the energy of your creative gifts and talent is more supported in another area. You know what I'm saying? Like for an example, you might just got a scholarship because you play good basketball at college, right? But the team that signed you is the Milwaukee Timberwolves, right? But you just got signed from your New York college. So you got to move to Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying, in order for your career to be playing, you know what I'm saying? So you got to now think about traveling back and forth for holidays and stuff like that when on off seasons and stuff. But like, I'm trying to just get y'all to understand. Now, and that's if it manifests physically. Mentally, just wherever at in your location that you can get into your comfort meditative zone the most, so your mind could be most free, so you can start receiving all these thoughts and feelings God trying to give you before you get distracted back in life again. You know what I'm saying, and stuff. So keep that in mind. That's so that's the fourth house where you should be finding your home, man. For an example, let's say you got the fourth house Lord in the sixth house. You need to be finding it in the work, like Uriel, finding it into routines, patterns, something that your health could be cool at, so you don't be all over the place and stuff like that and be erratic and stuff, right? If you got the fourth house and the fifth house, you need to be finding comfort or a home into your creativity. You don't be paying too much attention to your creativity or what make you have fun and enjoy yourself. You might be giving too much of your life to your responsibilities, like sixth house type stuff, and it's in your fifth house. You know what I'm saying? If you got fourth house Lord in the fourth house, you need to be finding comfort in an actual home or in comfort in someone else that you can feel emotionally comfortable with and vulnerable with and things of that nature, where you can have a sense of privacy, because you might lack privacy in your life. So you lack that energy of being able to be in that space to develop anything God trying to give you, because you're constantly distracted, and you probably reaping what you sowed from a previous lifetime to have your fourth house Lord in the fourth house. So you have to fight extra hard for privacy this time around, because in a previous lifetime you wasn't giving other people privacy when they wanted it. So you got to deal with all what you put out, and so you getting smothered now and you being frustrated and having to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? This is how you understand the deep psyche of stuff, beyond just the baggage astrology, the esoteric version of it. Now, look, check this out. Also, because this is in the Bible. Like I ain't talking about nothing in the Bible. Now, look, right now, fifth house, because the fourth house will be Jerusalem, heart space, Cancer, Noah's Ark getting ready to make a flood and stuff. But this ain't a Bible study. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go live tonight. We'll do a Bible study, and I'll open up the Bible and break down the scriptures clearly, which ain't gonna be nothing but a different version of what I'm doing now. Well, I'm gonna make, like, y'all gonna be like, dang, I didn't even know what I was reading in the Bible was that. And when I got into astrology, I thought that was separate. Nah, it's like this. Well, I watch. It's deep. I'm gonna go into Psalms, all kind of stuff. It's deep. Psalms ain't nothing but nakshatras, asterisms, decons. So little songs we play throughout the week and little throughout the hour of the day. Like I'm telling you, it's deep. It's deep how they put it together though, but it's slick. If you can see the correspondence and actuality, it's like, this is slick though. Even though they running the world from it and you look at it now, it's like it's stupid. But when you start practicing it though, it's like, it's a little slick though. It's a little slick tool though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it almost make you wish like you started and you was in on it too. Like you could rule gas stations and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? It almost make you feel like that. Like, okay, I wish I was in on it. I don't even want to hate no more. I just want to be in on it. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Like when I start getting to that point, man, them group of spirits, Jews and Jesuits and Masons, I don't hate them no more. They having fun right now. Them ones having fun. Like I don't want to be depressed either. I want to have fun too. They ain't worry about no low human, stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying too? Real stuff. I want to fly on the cherubim down here. Real stuff. Like that in that area, I ain't no spiritual hater when we get to that area. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. I'm trying to get all y'all on that level, so we can all get there and make a La La Land roller coaster ride with our own colors and stuff. Not no Aladdin carpets. Real stuff. Our own Babylon cities and carnivals and stuff. Real stuff. But look, check it out. All we gotta do is bring that New Jerusalem down here. That's what I'm working on right now. The little ritual and spell I just did that I showed y'all. I'm working on my New Jerusalem, and man, I've been seeing so much confirmation. Let me not even put no dirt on it. Let me shut up. That's only for people who I'm gonna see personally, so I can. Because I need help too to speed up the process. But the way it be looking, like I don't need no help, but I don't want to get in those energies again, because that'll go down the line of reasoning and train of thought. Where when I do actually need help, it'll be something I can't handle. So I'm gonna go ahead and like equilibrium it. You know what I'm saying? I'm in equilibrium. I'm gonna do what God telling me to do. That's it. But yeah, I'm gonna start adding people. I see y'all. Hold on. I can't see y'all. I just see the number guest thingy button. Now, okay, fifth house. Right now, this is where you should find your creativity in. A lot of times, y'all don't know how to find y'all creativity. You can't play the piano. A guitar might be for you or whatever like that. But whatever planet that rule your fifth house, wherever it's at, that's where you need to find your creativity. Sixth house, where you should find your working job. You gotta be like Uriel. My sixth house, because I'm just giving y'all an example. My sixth house is Capricorn, so my sixth house ruler is Saturn. And when we talking about this too, don't add the outer planets. Outer planets are influences. That's some Western shit that they try to get y'all lost in, and Ophiuchus and stuff. And I'm not itself. Antares is the solar plexus of Ophiuchus. It's just allegories that they trying to put satellites up, like how they did all the other ones. But it's just a space and time. That's it. On the west, everybody got a west corner. Don't get too lost into that. Those are ascendant masters or dead stars. But when we talk about the actual rulers, before we break it down to details to add those, just add the 7 planets. 7 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because that's actually how we even came up with the mathematics of what Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto even is. Because when we was talking about 10 days, it wasn't even correlated to us calling these things it from the perspective of seeing planets in the first place. So always understand that. It's only 7 water cycles. They have a daytime and a nighttime. And the water cycle we live in, y'all might think they're 2 things, but it's really one thing. Cancer and Leo is just the most closest representation of what Mars is on its own, with Aries and Scorpio, mother and father. Pisces and Sagittarius, Jupiter, mother and father. But when it get close to us, it's really 2 sides of our atmosphere. So we're just seeing a reflection, the moon, ruler of Cancer, and then the expression of it, the sun, ruler of Leo, and they right next to each other. So our masculine and feminine daytime is just what we call Leo and Cancer. That's the daytime of our water atmosphere cycle, Leo, and the nighttime of our water cycles atmosphere, Noah's Ark. Cancer, the moon. You know what I'm saying? Then when we get to Mercury, it has its own daytime. It's when we, from our perspective, we see the water cycle and that light being a minute in Gemini, and the nighttime when we see the light, the moon or the reflection being a minute in Virgo. But that's just one water cycle, and it's day and nighttime. We got one water cycle, day and nighttime. And ours, we just separated because we're inside of it. So everything looks separate to us. And you won't see no light outside of our atmosphere, though. So that's esoteric deep knowledge right there that no Jewish person could teach you, because they summoned me to understand what they talking about. So I'm sorry, y'all. Let me run this down. I see y'all. Hold on. Let me run this down. I just got to break it down spiritually. I don't like people leaving things on, because I come on all ladder scales. So I know where the most lowest mind watching me will probably say something pseudo or something like that. So I know how to answer all prayers. This is the allegory of answer all prayers. Since I've been here so long, I know all the thoughts a person would think anyway, because I already thought those thoughts. So I already knew how to overcome and ways to come at those thoughts in a million different angles. And I put a million different angles in one angle, and it suits everybody. I've been here and done a lot of shit already. All right, I'm God's children. A lot of y'all are too. I'm reminding y'all what you already know. So get out of your ego mind trying to fight against somebody else who's just showing you how powerful you is too. That's all. Now, 6th house, where you should be finding your work and your job and things of that nature. Oh yeah, I was making that as an example. My 6th house lord is Mars. I mean, my 6th house lord is Saturn, and it's 5th house. It's in the 5th house. So how I found my job is what? My creativity, what I entertain, what I like to pay attention to. So the things I paid attention to, that's how I found my job. I paid attention to music, astrology, expressing it creatively or charismatic and things of that nature. And I found the job in that. Now, if I didn't notice, every time I do this a little bit, because it's already in my chart, based upon my environment, because the shadow government don't be suiting everything for the environment. They be doing things based on the Bible and stuff. But based on my environment, I probably would have got rejected or looked at certain things myself like, this don't mean nothing. Let me just go get a job and this, that, and the third, because this ain't making me nothing. Then I would have never actually be able to do my maximum energy, what I'm here to do. And I would have never known I'm here to do it, to have the confidence to do it, whether I experience being rejected at times. And then for the most part, now that I know it, I don't lack knowledge. So those times I feel rejected, I know that I lack, whether it is, whatever it is, money or whatever. I know that I just need that to develop a better idea to still go for that plan, because it's in my chart. And that's how I reach my maximum level for whatever I want anyway. And God will always give you a confirmation how it's true. You just have to have faith, belief, and imagination in the right stuff, which what we talking about right now. Not faith, belief, and imagination in somebody else's superhero golem, where you get crumbs, and the only one who get the maximum bread loaf is the people who grandkids keep going to college, and the colleges is named after them. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? Gotta break it down. 7th house, right? Where you should find your partnerships, your relationships, and what networking is worthwhile. This is why a lot of y'all relationships and things of that nature and partnerships and business manifestations fall short, because you don't know this energy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you may be overly aggressive and passionate about trying to get a relationship, and you might be doing that in the wrong area of your life. Because here's the thing, you might be lost in your Venus planet, your chakra, but that might ain't got nothing to do with your 7th house. You might got Venus in the 1st house, 10th house, or something like that, right? But your 7th house saying you got to find love somewhere else, then start participating in your Venus energy. And you might not like what you got to sacrifice or reciprocate with, but that's your only way of being able to find love. Because here's the thing, your Venus may misalign wherever the house lord of your 7th house is at. You might got 7th house Aquarius, so Saturn is the ruler there. So it's telling you to find your partnership. Let's say you got Saturn in the 12th house. It's saying find it with someone who match your dreams and imagination. But let's say you got Venus in the 4th house, so you too busy trying to find love through your people who know your family, or people that you're close to, or people you can feel comfortable with. And that might be all the wrong places, because this whole time you ain't know that the areas you feel uncomfortable searching for love in is that area you supposed to where you gonna find your true match. Because your 7th house lord is in the 12th house and it's Saturn, and you might be restricting that area a lot, and that's where your true best partner is at. And now now that you don't like knowledge no more, you're willing to have enough confidence to go through what you were scared of and the rejections and stuff, because you sure it's going to be the outcome, because now someone relayed the knowledge to you to put it in your mind to be like, all right, let me go. Because you might didn't have the knowledge to do it for yourself, but each one teach one. And I ain't teach you nothing. I only remind you what you already know. Because guess what? When you go look at your chart, it's already your chart. What I'm saying. Now look, check this out. 8th house, right? And let's protect Soul Group member Camera Jones. She said she just picked up a rental car, but right now coming weather permit. Anytime we getting objects that we know we got to return and stuff like that, let's protect Soul Group members and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna be getting into in the world anyway. Because I don't want my name and nothing and stuff like that. So when we utilizing things, the government type stuff, we're the lords over that. We the gods and goddesses over that. So that's my way of giving spiritual protection over, not no being fear or nothing like that. We run these things. This whole time, Camille Jones, she got a rental car. It's hers. It's her car right now. You know what I'm saying? She run that, and they bet not have anything to say. And everything gonna go through smoothly, and she gonna return it in peace, and they gonna be able to have their business run through smoothly, and she gonna be able to do what she had to do and give it back to them smoothly, and everybody gonna be still smoothly here spiritually. Thank you so much for the donation, and Gina Moon. I appreciate that from about my house, 7th house lord in the 7th house. So your relationships, you got to find it in your networking, people you relate to. So that's through your siblings, your relationships. I mean, your relationships that ain't got nothing to do with you relating as far as trying to find a partner and stuff. So sometimes your best way of finding your relationship or partnerships is through your friends, or through people you're close to, through people you're already networking with. You know what I'm saying? You do better finding a partner at your job or something like that. You do better finding a partner that, you probably know through your friend that you do things with and stuff like that. Anytime you too much by yourself and online and something like that, and that person you're interested in don't got no form of reputation through anybody you low-key might be getting ready to make a low-key mistake. Now, not all the time, but more on a percentage scale than being wrong than right. But every now and then you might get lucky, because our geographical location, every now and then the stars align. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be aware more on the negative than positive, because that's how your thing is. So it's better for you to always search for a partner. Not always, but like I said, most of the time, it'd be better for you if you're going to search for a partner. Make sure that person you're interested in got a little bit of reputation, like somebody know a little bit about them. You know what I'm saying? You walking on thin ice a little bit, trying to do too much searching completely by yourself with individuals nobody know. Yeah, you walking on thin ice. Another sign can get away with that. You can't really get away with that with your seventh house lord in the seventh house. And you brought some previous things in a previous lifetime. You was a home wrecker. You was breaking up happy homes in a previous lifetime. So you're forced to not do that because the role you was playing in a previous lifetime was breaking up happy homes by you being the individual of other people's escape plans for them to cheat on their partners and get out of their relationships. Now you got to walk on eggshells with yourself. You always got that possibility of creating scenarios for yourself where you'll get in a relationship with people you can't necessarily have all to yourself. And it's always because you didn't find that person based on having a reputation through someone you actually know. But right now, yeah, we're talking about, shout out to Nina B. We're talking about open house lords right now. If you got an empty house, it's really important for you to understand what I'm talking about right now as far as house lords. This is all what I'm talking about right now. Now, because if you got an empty house, it's extremely important for you to fulfill that house. So you will have to use wherever that planet is at for that energy, or you will always get taken advantage of by another zodiac sign, or if they got a planet that fall in that house, or regardless if they that zodiac sign or got a planet that fall in that house or not, they may carry out characteristic traits during that day that manifest events of that elemental energy. For an example, you might got a third house in Gemini, right? And the person in your life might not be a Gemini, but let's say whatever that they doing that day, they created a Gemini-like situation. Like they put you in a situation where you got to communicate, you got to talk, you got to learn something from the environment and people in it in some way, shape, or form, right? If you ain't got no planet there, a lot of times people in these situations that make you pay attention to an area of life, a house with no planet in it, sometimes can take advantage of you by default because you lack knowledge in that area. So you have to go through a bunch of experiences from these type of circumstances for you to be aware of that house a lot more. Other than that, you lack energy and know-how in that house and gift and talent in that house. And it takes other people to help you with that house all the time. Every time you manifest an event, that energy of that house and that area of life need attention. Thank you so much for the donation, Archangel Uriel. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You said, what is our first date? When? You might have to get blocked if you talking about you a dude. Or is that a typo? That must be a typo. I'm gonna go, since you left a number 9 donation, I'm gonna consider that being a typo. You must have trying to say something else. The date that they made the Bible, you know what I'm saying, the Old Testament was about like 2,000 years ago, something like that. Yeah, see, I gave you your answer. Now let's check this out, right? So yeah, eighth house, right? Where you should find your deep desires. So a lot of times this is why y'all find the wrong sex partners and stuff like that, because you don't know your 8th house lord. You'll find the wrong sexual partners, develop a whole bunch of STDs and things of that nature. So y'all got to be careful. 9th house, where you should find your morality. A lot of times y'all got false moral systems where you'll have this false sense of morality, thinking is right based upon your upbringing and grandma and things. Then you'll start to get older and live your life the way you're supposed to live it, but start witnessing other people being in positions that you want to be in, but doing things that's totally against your moral system and stuff like that. You'll be like, what's going on? God, is you against me or something? No, your morality is wrong. Your morality ain't got nothing to do with what makes you manifest and what's preventing, you know what I'm saying? And what somebody else should be doing. So that's the reason why y'all making a lot of mistakes of that, because you might not know where your 9th house lord is at. 10th house lord, where you should find your status in business. A lot of y'all don't be finding the right business, and you be having guilty by association or blemishes on your status. Somebody be throwing shade on your light, so you could be known for things you don't want to be known for. And the reason why, because you be participating in energies that ain't got nothing to do with where you're supposed to be paying attention to, aka where you should find your status of business. Whatever the house lord of your 10th house is at, that's the area you need to find your business and career. For an example, my 10th house lord is Taurus. Is Venus. And Venus is in my 10th house. So I need to find my business and career and status in things that deal with business, career, and status. So remind you, everything is spiritual and physical. Business is just means what me and you is gossiping about. That's between me and you, or what I got going on in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Status is just what you're known for, whatever you're known for, and things of that nature. Now, and career is anything you make out of yourself. You got career bums out here. You got career crackheads out here and stuff like that. It's a career. They at the gas station every day like it's a career, right? So when you break it down physically from the spiritual speculative energy, you make it into operative and you actually practice that. So for an example, I got my 10th house lord in the 10th house, which is Venus. So I have to use the filter energy of love and appreciation, but I have to find my business, entertainment, and career. My business, like the spiritual, in business, entertainment, and career. So for the most part, my status, my business, what I'm known for. I'm known for astrology. I'm known for making clothes and music and things of that nature. So I have to make a business out of that. I have to make that my status. You know what I'm saying? I have to make that something. I can't just be like, oh, I'm known for this, but I got to go work at McDonald's. No. If I would have let life do that to me, it would have still worked. I would have still been into these things, but I would have never reached the full potential of it. Now, by me knowing it, the things that I went through in my life to make me feel like, oh, I better go get a McDonald's job. I looked at that and I didn't look at it negative. So whether I had to get it or came up with another idea, it still was going to be predicated on what I'm trying to do to reach the maximum percentage level of something. So regardless of how I did it, I did it lowering my ego and I still reached the area that I needed to do. See what I'm saying? And God gave me the confirmation, period. Now, so, and that's another example I could show y'all too, why I'm a consistent Aries, because a lot of Aries y'all might meet not consistent, but a lot of times our whole chart, every time, 10 times out of 10, our whole chart make up who we are. So what makes me a consistent Aries than other ones is because like my 10th house lord is in my 10th house and it's Taurus and Venus. So I'm forced to love and appreciate something that's 10th house like with Taurus there. 10th house, my status, career, and business. Taurus, I'm stubborn. Even if it looked like to you it ain't working, you can't tell me that. I have to fall on my face thousands of times to realize this ain't working. You know what I'm saying? So thank God I'm Uriel and I know about astrology so I can know what to put there in that area to be stubborn in, so it look like consistent. But I'm just giving y'all a game. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to so it might be other things in my life that Aries play out all day, especially me being triple fire where I'm inconsistent as hell. Especially when it comes to communicating, upholding relationships and stuff, I'm inconsistent as hell. Shit, let us talk about my career and my status and what y'all know me for though. You gonna see me talk about astrology every day. You gonna see, I said that's that 10th house lord ruling Venus. I said real stuff. So when you start to look at your own chart, you're going to be like, oh, dang, I do this every day. Oh, I do that. Oh, I need to start doing that when y'all start looking at your own chart. So like, because you already been looking at your houses and stuff, your house lords, but not with this mind frame. This make it more exciting. This make you want to go back and type in your date, your time and date and city and your date of birth again right now, right after this live stream. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of making me want to do. I ain't gonna front. You know what I'm saying? So I already know how y'all feel. Like, yeah, right after this live stream, I'm gonna check mine out real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because like you already know it, but it feel better when you're looking at it too again. When you looking at it through another mind state, like always better again. It's always refreshing. And that's what Aries here to do. I don't even like looking at something over and over again. I gotta look at it through another mind state to be refreshing all over again. Like, oh shit, I like this. And it was something you've been looking at for the past 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's always refreshing again. Thanks for the donation store. I ain't this nigga thing. Soul group, creative soul group in this thing. You said 12th house, Lord in 12th house. So that's where you need to find your dreams, imagination, and fantasies and illusions. In your delusions, imaginations and fantasies and imaginations and stuff like that. So you're the type of individual where your straitjacket energy is where all your creative gifts and talents come out at. It might be hard for you to even develop ideas and be actually free with express your creative gifts and talents and things of that nature. If you're around other individuals that's too sturdy, too single-minded, they got to have an open mind and things of that nature, or you're going to start to feel like I can't be creative around this. Too much other stuff going on. So you get your creativity from straitjacket. Now, when I say straitjacket, that's not always negative. I'm just making that as an allegory of isolation. Straitjacket is an allegory of isolation, and we can do that positively or negatively. Now, in the context of a person who have the 12th house lord in the 12th house, this is an individual is where they find their creativity. They're able to be most open-minded when they're isolated. Anytime they're around too many other individuals and things of that nature with too much other stuff going on and stuff like that, they're not able to express their creativity and stuff like that. Like a person with the 12th house lord in the 12th house, they could probably do a backflip when they by themselves or around people they can feel vulnerable around. As soon as they get around other people where the energy ain't, it'll make them feel weird, all of a sudden they forget how to do a backflip. If you get what I'm trying to say. It's like you can do the most beautiful thing in the world. As soon as you get around any weird energies that don't like attract what made you feel comfortable when you was isolated, or around other people you could feel comfortable and vulnerable around to be isolated, somehow you'll forget the word to say. You'll forget the talent. You'll forget the gift, or you might get highly uncomfortable with trying to do it. Like it'll play out like that. Thank you so much for donation, Righteous Legion, Lisa. So it's important for these individuals to always be around like-minded individuals, or it'd be like you could be the director with the best movie in the world. As soon as you get around where it's time to be presented, if it's like certain people there that got like a fart cloud floating around, all of a sudden you might forget parts of the script, or it might not come out the way it came out when you was at that isolated time where it was beautiful at. You know what I'm saying? So that's that little challenge for 12th house lords in the 12th house. They're the highest creative people in the world. They just have to make sure they're surrounded around people who speak good life into things, or the creativity and never flourish. Thank you so much for the donation, Righteous Lisa at VI Izzo at 357. Y'all gonna let me finish this lecture though. Yeah, I'm trying to break this down for all y'all. But you shout out VI Izzo. You said first house lord, the 9th house in Capricorn. So you gotta make sure place your personality, personal issues, and your personal affairs and things of that nature, and allow spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, and morality to guide these things. So you're here to personally be a teacher or a person that can conduct it or learn something to be able to help people with their morality when it comes to internally and externally traveling and things of that nature. So a lot of times you got the extreme energies to play out the card of the fool card or the wise, or being a wise individual. And both of these play out as examples for other individuals on how to learn. So you could be a lucky individual too, if it has something to do if it has something to do with education, morality, teaching, communicating something to someone, putting somebody on to something that got to do with traveling internally or externally. You know what I'm saying? Opening somebody's mind, that's internal travel or external travel, right? Actually giving somebody a better perspective of how to go about something in some way, shape, or form, even if they have to travel to another location or things of that nature. So these are things you're already into, even all the way to the point that that was even beneficial even when I went to Atlanta and stuff like that. And shout out, good looking out VI Izzo, because I'll stay with VI Izzo that day and his thing. So with his Aquarius energy. So that was already an energy of the first house, 9th house. That helped me understand how to travel more sufficiently instead of me being on the road from straight where I'm at all the way to Atlanta. That was the soul group member right there that helped that ride to be a lot more easier. I didn't have to be on the road that long knowing I got pancreatitis. I had somewhere to set up shop at so I could start the road the next day in the morning. Yeah, so shout you out too. And I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart for VI Izzo. So that's already the energies of that. And stuff like that is how you get into your benefits and your manifestations and stuff like that. In other type of areas that represent the same type of filter energy that you already into. And we already manifested that off the back, what I just explained. I'm saying. So that was a beneficial for me. Now, so just you getting think right now is a manifestation of your first house, 9th house energy, and you plan it out even at a time of you not even doing it at the maximum level and things like that. Now you could probably get run a car business now if you take it to the furthest, because it's Capricorn. So it's about building a business and stuff like that and stuff. So you got to teach that. You can run a whole car lot, run a whole lot of other stuff too. Run a whole ceremony. So you won't be, even if it's a church, you won't be the one preaching. You'll be the one behind collecting a check and stuff like that, and hiring preachers. If we put it in allegory of a church and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Now, all right, so let me run this down so I can start adding everybody. Now, for the most part, 9th house, right? This is where you should find your morality at, which I said. 10th house is where you should find your status and your business at and stuff like that. 11th house is where you should be associated with. You know what I'm saying? Where you should be associated with. So a lot of times y'all pick the wrong associations and pick the wrong jobs and have the wrong public persona and stuff like that because y'all don't be knowing what to associate with due to the fact of not knowing where your 11th house Lord is at. For an example, if you got the 11th house Lord in the 5th house, you might feel totally opposite from that in your whole life. But now that you know that you got your 5th house Lord, because they're the opposite houses, you know that you're here to stop playing devil's advocate all the time and start participating into the things that you think you don't like because everybody giving attention to. So you could be the unique one there. And therefore, that's how you will start associating yourself with the right things now and not be ghosting things that you don't need to ghost and block opportunities in your life. That every time you witness this event, because you already got this in your chart anyway, you already experience wanting to play out the opposite energy or be unbalanced in that area. So you got to keep that in mind too. So also we got now when we start talking about the 12th house. The 12th house is where you should find is where you should find your true dreams at. So a lot of times y'all don't be knowing where to find your true dreams at due to the fact of being in some type of weird circumstance of trying to follow other people's dreams and imaginations. So right here, you the 12th house, knowing what, like sometimes if you got the 12th house Lord in the 1st house, you're here to find your dreams personally. You got to stop trying to take too much validations or think you need to do what other people are already doing and it seems like it's successful as a familiarity. So you got to peep game on that. Now, all right, so let me run this down real quick too. So specifically after the houses have a specific ruler. For an example, what rules the moon is Cancer. See what I'm saying? So these will be the filtering systems that you have to do. So this is what's going to reveal something to you when you act out these energies, right? When I say we going to serve the Lord is that planet in that house. So when you act out that energy in that house, that's you serving the Lord. When you say we, your spirit in that house is serving, aka acting out the energy of the light, the planet that's in that house, that area of your life. So when it comes to the sun, this sun is the path of your actions, visions, and potentials, and how you're supposed to express yourself. So whatever house you got the sun in, right, that's where you're going to express yourself. And for the most part, what you are expressing is, because we all got all the zodiac signs, whether you have overlapping houses or not, where Leo will be at, right? So for the most part, that's when you will go look at the sun. And then for the most part, take that energy of that house where Leo will be at, or if it's Leo there and you don't got overlapping houses, and then you interact that house in the area where the sun is at. And that's you taking the path so you can see what's revealed to you at the end of that rainbow when you get there to see your lucky charm leprechaun face, get some coins and gold. So the path of your sun is, that'll be the area of life you take your actions and how you want to be seen. So that could be revealed to you. The moon, the path of your connection and comfort zone. So wherever the moon is at, that should be the area that you search and react and respond to the most to gain comfortability in. So anytime there's uncomfortability there, that's what you should think is more important to react or respond to. So, because anytime you get these things together, whether it's domestic issues, negativity, enemies, or anything, anytime you're resolving things emotionally, it puts you in a better space to have your emotions and your heart space, charity, that between realm, how you manifest, to be in a better position where you can spend time on thinking about better things. So that's what that's for. The moon is the most important. You can't manifest nothing if your heart is always misguided. Let's say you just got cheated on, or someone just took advantage of you or robbed you or something like that. How can you be sitting around thinking about making your song or acting or actressing and things of that nature when that was just done to you? Your heart's somewhere else at that point. Your mind's somewhere else at that point. So whatever you do that help you sufficient in your life is not able to be used to the fullest potential because your heart elsewhere. It's in that area you just got taken advantage of. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. The sun, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And you don't get the moon together. You don't get mama together. You don't get your matrix together. You don't get your volume together. Real shit. So keep that in mind. That's most important. And that's going to be correlated to your Cancer house. So the path of your connection and comfort. So wherever you got Cancer at, Search from wherever the moon is at, and that's going to be the path you need to take that house where Cancer at, and that's going to be the tool you use as the path of your connection and your comfort. The Cancer and the moon tool. So wherever house you got Cancer at, wherever house the moon is at, you will take that Cancer house and play it out in that moon house through the filtering system of the moon energy. Make sure you're using your emotions. Make sure your heart chakra is open. Make sure you're not so judgmental. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. Make sure you know how to relate. It ain't all about the logic. Mercury. Make sure it ain't all about what you see and what you think a person showed you. The sun. Make sure it ain't all about a love. Venus. Make sure it ain't all about passion. No, keep it the moon there. And boom, you'll be good. Now, Mercury, right? This is the path of your ideas, the path of your ideas to communicate. So a lot of times, this is why y'all be talking to the wrong people and stuff. So wherever you got Mercury at, right, that's going to be your path. So wherever the house you got, wherever house you got Virgo and Mercury at, take both of those houses and the energy of those houses and the element Virgo, Earth, mutable, and Gemini, mutable air, and do both of those things and the houses, the energy of the houses, and focus it on wherever you got Mercury at. And therefore, you will see the house that Mercury is in, the Lord, give benefits to whatever house you got Virgo and Gemini in. For an example, let's say you got Virgo in the, let's say you got Gemini in the 6th house and you got Virgo in the 9th house, right? So for the most part, here's the thing. Let's say they both ruled by Mercury. So let's say you got Mercury in the 2nd house. So the more you take the 6th house energy, overthinking and analyzing and communicating and sharing ideas at work, health routine, or about work, health routines and patterns, Gemini in the 6th house. And the more that you take adding wisdom and knowledge and your travels internally and externally and your morality, and make sure you got discipline with it. Keep it up as a routine and pattern. Keep it up as communicate with these things. Make sure you do these things every day. Don't let nobody take you off that task, aka Virgo in the 9th house. Now, make sure you do both of those energies and do that in the 2nd house with the Mercury energy, aka always think, communicate, and analyze and share ideas, Mercury, through the lens of valuing the 2nd house, valuing your gifts and talents. So at this point, the stuff you talk about and communicate, Mercury, and share ideas with, that it seems like you value 2nd house, Mercury in the 2nd house, you talk like you value these things and it's stuff, and it's part of your gifts and talents. Let that be the fart clouds of the 6th house, Gemini in the 6th house, and Virgo in the 9th house, aka overthinking about work and health, Gemini 6th house, and add meaning and purpose and put it on a routine and pattern, Virgo 9th house. Make sure that be the things you're communicating, Mercury, and it sound like you value these things, aka Mercury in the 2nd house. And then once you start, what's going to happen is God going to take you through events in the 2nd house, separate you from the wrong people, places, and things based upon events that you was valuing and the gifts and talents, and put you in the rather rejection or positive confirmations, and put you in a space of the right people, places, and things you need to be valuing and plant seeds in to help you with your self-esteem, to be aware of your gifts and talents. Then once you go through those situations, Mercury in the 2nd house, right, start to put value, right, start to give blessings and give benefits and give prosperity to your 6th house and your 9th house, aka you end up having a better job that you could talk about to other people, aka Gemini in the 6th house, and you end up having wise things that people could look at that you keep as a routine and pattern, because you're making a lot of money off what you be keeping as a routine and pattern, aka Virgo in the 9th house. You get it? Thank you so much for the donation, Mellow the Star, man. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. All you got to do is hang in there. You might go through a lot of jobs and stuff. If you're doing it for God this way, you already know whatever negative situation you're going through currently, it is going to lead to the positive energy. And you're only going to be in a situation where you're proving other people wrong or make people come around who had that weird fart cloud expectation on you. You're going to make them come around and be like, oh, I was wrong. What you doing is the stuff. I ain't know that was possible. Just in my life would work for me, and what didn't work for me, I only seen it that way. And that could be your mama, your grandmama, anybody. But when you're doing something for God, you ain't wasting time having a chip on your shoulder and resentment. You're wasting your time just being an example to wake people up. Even these people who once upon a time gave you that negative energy because they quote unquote expected so much more from you. What is that? Last time I checked, less is best. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You got to be here as a vessel. All right, so let me break down this last piece right here. I didn't even know my lecture was gonna be this long. Y'all know I can't. This is my life. Forget Manly P. Hall and all of them. Uriel and the Soul Group, we be breaking down the stuff that is $1 billion. The stuff, and without the pseudo, and it be the stuff that they be trying to talk about. And we break it down the way how to use it for your real life. Make it more exciting. Make it more better. Take the pseudo out of it. Put the spirituality back into it. Put the actual science back into it. Make life fun again. Yeah, forget Trump. Let's make life great again. That's what Uriel here to do. Uriel here to make life great again. The most dullest moments of your life, I'm here to make those exciting again. Every time you're sitting on your couch and it reached boring energies and stuff like that, I'm here to make those times exciting again. Even when you bored, it's exciting a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to bring that again. Let's make life great again. It's had to rip. So just had to rip. Doctor it up a little bit. But yeah, we making life great again. Because that's the only reason it's hard to manifest, because you probably got too much time paying attention to areas that's non-beneficial to you. Such as what we into right now. And this is setting you back on track, your revelation, so you can see what's revealed to you. Because I can't wait to hear your testimony. Because I'm about tired of talking about mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going through a time right now. I'm dating. I'm thinking about getting into dating now and stuff like that, and building a consort testimony and a soul group testimony and stuff like that, and putting other men on their feet so they can run a community and get them a consort and stuff like that. Because I know y'all men, I know y'all tired of picking the wrong people. I know y'all tired of picking the wrong people. And a lot of y'all can't even find nobody. Yeah, we about to change all that. Uriel and the soul group and the subconscious community, we about to change all that for the world. We about to end gender wars. We about to end all wars. We about to make life great again. Make the simple stuff fun again. Like the ancient times when we went outside, it was fun looking at the sun. I make that excited again. Y'all learned life about outside and Google. Y'all learned about outside from Google. I make it fun to go back outside and go get an uncle, go get something and track the sun again and stuff, like something that been out there every day. I made that exciting again. That's what we here to do. God be right in front of y'all. Y'all not able to see it. The knowledge be right in front of y'all. Stuff you look past every day. We make that excited again. Now you know the stuff that's right in front of you is where all the knowledge came from. All the spells, all the spelling, all the knowledge, all the math, all the arches, all the pillars, all the waterfronts, all the shrines. It's been right in front of you this whole time. You got bored with it. So let me remind you what you already know. You know what I'm saying? So you can add some more excitement knowledge to it and it become refreshing again. The sun is a big old baby again, like Teletubbies. You know what I'm saying? It's we all over again. Back to 2,000 years, it's all refreshing again. You know what I'm saying? Back at the beginning stage before we made things pseudo and stupid. All right, now look. So the sun is your path of your actions, visions, and potential. The moon is your path of your connection and comfort. Mercury is your path of your ideas and communication. Venus is your path of your love language. So wherever you got Venus at, that's where your love language is most comfortable. And a lot of times that's why y'all don't get good relative energy or reciprocation. Or you might just got somebody who retarded, who not waking up to be themselves. Because that's a true thing too. The shadow government created so much indoctrination out and fake wokeness that you could be around somebody who are aware of their love language, but it's still like free will. So they just in some retarded energy in some way, shape, or form. Then you got Mars. Mars the path of your passions and aggressiveness. So where you supposed to be passionate and aggressive at. A lot of y'all don't be understanding where you're supposed to be aggressive at. Saturn, the path of your discipline and seriousness, where you're supposed to be a little serious. That's why a lot of y'all get taken advantage of in areas you don't even know, because you don't know where your Saturn is at and the house, the Lord of it, where Aquarius and Capricorn is at. So using the energy of the house of or houses to do it in the house that the house Lord is in. For an example, the house that Taurus and Venus is your Venus and Taurus house, right? They're ruled by Venus. So wherever houses Venus is in the area of life, you need to go ahead and create your revelation so something can be revealed to you in that house, so that house can start giving blessings to whatever the house you got Taurus and Venus is in. Now, so we're going to break it down specifically. Now, your Leo house and the sun. This is where you need to be expressing yourself and who you need to become in this lifetime. Your Cancer house and the moon. So the Cancer house and then the moon. So wherever the moon at, that's where you need to take the Cancer house and act out the energy into wherever the house the moon is at. And this is where you need to obtain your comfort, privacy, and real connection. Thank you so much for the donation, Chen Yelu. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So your Cancer house, right? When you look at that house, look where the moon at, even if the moon is there. And that's where you need to obtain your comfort, privacy, and your real connection. Or you're going to be walking on thin ice and barely find a real connection, right? And for the most part, and even if you got overlapping houses, where Cancer will be at, you still got the moon somewhere. So it's the same thing. Don't get confused. Because a lot of y'all might have Gemini or Leo there. But whatever Leo or Gemini is replacing, where Cancer would have been at, it's the same thing. And you might even got extra energies, because you can go find the ruler of that sign too and add extra energies, but still keep it basic though. That house ruler is still the sign that still would have been there too. So you could just add extra emphasis and extra magic tricks and look at other things in your life that participated in that energy, because that's your makeup. So that's your special makeup relative to you. You got other layers. You know what I'm saying? You got other layers to yourself. That's why I do equilibrium astrology. I don't get too Vedic, sidereal, or too Western. All of these things, the same thing. Like, for an example, my sun sign is the second notice because it's 17 degrees. My moon is Antares. Y'all been hearing me say that since the beginning of the time. I don't get lost in that 22 degrees back. If that's the case, we might as well add all the degrees then. That's how I do it. Yeah, I might be a sun sign in Aries, but everybody don't land in Draco. One person gonna land in Andromeda, another person. My 17 degrees land in Draco, second notice. So I'm a second notice sun sign. And if you want to be technical, that's why y'all always hear me say I'm an Antares moon. My 8 degrees Sagittarius land on Antares. So I go into I don't pick one or the other. I make them all together how it's supposed to be. Because if I was to pick one or the other, it's still the same thing. In Vedic and sidereal, I'm a 15 degrees Scorpio moon. That's still Antares to them. And just in the Western Hemisphere, I was born before the year 2000. So it ain't go to 9 degrees yet. So for the most part, we had that 2,000-year shift. Jesus came back stuff. So I was born before that. So for the most part, I was 8 degrees Sagittarius moon. So I'm Antares Western too. So when you just bring that together, it's the same thing. Same way, like 22 degrees back. It don't mean nothing. My Mercury still fall in my Pisces 8th house. My moon still fall in my Scorpio 8th house. So it don't mean that, oh, I'm into Vedic, I needed to teach people I'm a Scorpio moon. No, I'm a Sagittarius moon, but in Western, I'm a Sagittarius moon, but in Vedic, I'm a Scorpio moon. But when you blend them all together, it don't matter. I'm a Sagittarius moon Western, but Vedic, it don't matter. It fall in my Scorpio 4th house. So even if it didn't degree wise, it still will have an aspect like that, but it does. So it's still the same thing. So ain't no reason picking one or the other. You just when you have equilibrium, you're able to speak about it with layers. So you add more layers and more knowledge to it. That's the true religion. That's the true astrology. So in this case, we know the 4th house got manifested from the nurturing, home, family, domestic, and then that manifested the Cancer energy, right? Cardinal water. Initiating and creating new ways of emotional connection, right? So then I got the moon there. I'm emotionally connected to these things. I react to respond to that. But then I got a Sagittarius moon. I do that in immutable fire in a Uriel way. So for the most part, I'm like always trying to add a meaning or reasoning to my emotions and feelings. But then it's in a Scorpio house. So I'm always trying to add a meaning or reasoning to my feelings, Moon Sagittarius, to some deep, dark, occult type things or transition, or I may experience that in my life due to other figures or what I create as far as toxic family scenarios or close scenarios. And then for the most part, that's when I react and respond to Scorpio there. Then I got Pluto there. So that add layers. All of that make up me to the point that there would be no such thing as y'all hearing me or seeing me create a soul group if a person ain't already got a situation like that behind closed doors. Thanks so much for the donation, and Gina Moon. Please, y'all gonna let me finish this shit though, for real. Said Cancer ascended in the 5th house. I mean Cancer Moon in the 5th house. I broke that down, didn't I? You here to take your personality and your personal life and things of that nature, and who you here to personally be is in the 5th house. Creativity, fun, enjoyment, or some to express yourself in some way, shape, or form. So you have a hard time expressing yourself. It's something creative that you got, and who you are. You're here to be youthful. You're not here to be old, depressed, and lost in discipline. You're here to create, lighten up your loads, and fun and enjoyment, or creativity or expression, or something creative in general, or setting the stage for something. This is what you're here to do. You're here to be a star. All right, now look. Now, so your Leo house and the sun is where you need to be to express yourself and who you need to become. Now, based upon what the donation person shout you out, this is what I just broke down. Your Cancer house and the moon is where you need to obtain your comfort and your real connection. So a lot of times your connection and your comfort and how you personally obtain that and things of that nature. So look, what I broke down was just your 1st house lord in the 5th house. Now breaking it down with the magic trick, how I'm talking about it right now for the person who just left the donation, do what I just said. Personally put yourself into the 5th house. Now add this to it. Find your real connection, comfort, and privacy, and something that got to do with creativity, fun, and enjoyment. If you can't find no fun and enjoyment, no validity, validation, no comfort, no youthfulness by yourself, you always need it outside of yourself, you're going to be walking on eggshells or walking on thin ice. Try to find these things for yourself, and that's going to help you develop something that when you do start to attract an audience, you actually could produce money off of it too and things of that nature. Where other people may need validation, you supposed to fight that and find it for yourself first. Now, your Gemini and Virgo house, and Mercury. This is where you need to start thinking and analyzing and communicating at. So if you got communication problems and an extreme introvert, you need to start putting yourself into a situation where you start communicating in that area of life, even if you allow the introvert energy to make you look at that uncomfortable because it's already in your chart. Now that you know it's in your chart, and when you go back and look at it as exciting, now you're going to even be excited to even test it and test your own self and smile when you get ready to experience some rejection moments and stuff like that. If you experience it at all, you might start experiencing everything you never experienced before and be like, dang, all I had to do was do this and I could have got what I wanted and stuff and a lot faster. Dang, I didn't know that. Because a lot of times it's like that too. Y'all be wanting a lot of things like relationships or objects or business or jobs opportunities and stuff, and you've been going about it the wrong time the whole time, and been reaching your goals, but just at more giving your blood, sweat, and tears and stress. Where once you figure this out and start doing things these ways, you'll start putting things to the test and start witnessing outcomes and stuff like, dang, I'm doing what I've been doing a lot faster now. I ain't know if all I had to do was do it this way and stuff like that. Start meeting all different people and stuff, like stuff starts speeding up. Now, your Taurus and Libra house and Venus, wherever Venus is at, and you add the Taurus and Libra house to that area in the Venus type way, this is where you need to show your value and appreciation and support the most. That's why I always tell y'all I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Because my career, my status, what I'm known for, I need to always play out Venus the most there. That's what I need to show my most love. Anytime I'll be too negative, and that's why I don't do no videos with people's names in the titles too much. Really at all. because that will be my downfall. That's not for me. Another person with Mars there and stuff like that, that would be their success. I won't get success like that. That's not for me. So let's say if I did that and I lack knowledge and I didn't do that, it might be certain success I do reach, right? Because everybody else is doing it, lost in the world. But I will still meet a demise faster. It won't be something I'll be able to be consistent at. It'll be something that, let's say I'm a content creator and I'm doing that instead of the way I'm supposed to do it. It'll be a wave I caught that becomes outdated, and I can't do nothing else no more. And then I have to like feather away with the wind with that wave I caught. You know what I'm saying? So I might have maximized that wave, but I can't do nothing else. And every time I try to do something else, it's like I fell off. But with the consistency, it don't matter if you popping or fall off. You consistent in the area doing what you do, so you're always able to benefit off of it. It ain't got nothing to do with the wave of the work. You're always able to still maintain your position and get what God giving you. So I understand that. So I'm helping y'all. I ain't teaching y'all nothing. I'm only reminding you what you already know. I'm reminding y'all to get back on track and do that. Find out your Taurus and your Libra house. Go find where Venus at and start putting your love language in that area. And you're gonna start realizing there's a lot of people you hate in that area and stuff like that, and you got a lot of work to start doing. I started early. So I got rid of all these kind of people and stuff like that fast. So that's why a lot of my time can go towards what it's supposed to, aka God separated me from people, places, and things. Now I got more time for God to fulfill it with other people, places, and things. It's been about 10 years now. I got soul group, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like God took care of me. God took care of me. And I've been by myself my whole life. And I could finally say not no more. All right, now your Aries and your Scorpio house. You know what I'm saying? Your Aries and your Scorpio house in Mars. This is where you need to exert your passion, motives, and your goals. And don't let fatigue like redirect your actions too much. And there's going to be those times that you burn yourself out and be like, oh, I need to rest more. And, you know, play with that energy. But don't let it control it to the point that those times you do reach that burnout and you be like, I need to adjust my energy more. You allow that to create a comfort procrastination energy. And you end up suggesting that's the right thing to do and justifying it because not doing it won't lead you into that extreme fatigueness or burnout anymore, where sometimes it might be certain events that need that energy of you exerting and having that possibility of fatigueness. And when you build on that, your fatigueness become less and less because it's like building a muscle. So it needs you to even play with that, not look at that like it's a bad thing when you reach a burnout. It needs you to play with that energy and just figure out your burnout line and just play with that so you can manifest. If y'all know what I'm talking about. It get a little deep with Mars. Mars is way more stronger than Pluto. Pluto just us explaining Mars dying. Mars is when it's just it, period. Death and birth, it, period. The knowledge of it, period. You see what I'm saying? The raw image of Pluto. So this is why it's actually the ruler of Scorpio and Aries. But for the most part, it's the thing, because it's about mathematics too. But before we ain't gonna get into that right now. So wherever you got Aries and Scorpio at, I mean, you need to take that energy and place it wherever Mars at. And then do it like Mars. Make sure you're taking Aries in that house and Scorpio in that house and doing it in a house where Mars at in a very passionate way, in a very aggressive way. And then that house gonna give all kind of blessings. I already broke down an example for me. Then you have your Sagittarius and your Pisces house and Jupiter is where you need to learn how to teach or experience more, because we're all teachers. Now, here's the thing. The shadow government, they be doing this on a broad witchcraft level. So, of course, we got schools and actual teachers. But always understand it from a spiritual and a physical level. It's spiritual first, then it's physical. Then we do all these things in our own way. So you could be a teacher if you just teaching your sibling how to cook. You could be a teacher if you just teaching your sibling how to fight, your friend how to jump rope, your friend how to box. You see what I'm saying? So don't hear these terms like 10th house and business and career and automatically get wet in the left brain version of it, the physical. Oh, so this means where I'm gonna find my business. No, it's always spiritual first. It's the spiritual speculative version of your business. What business is you involved in? See what I'm saying? So then when you get that together, then it can become physical. So don't get too wet even off other astrologers' explanation. Always understand angels, the spiritual perspective of it through that lens. Now you're able to put everything together like an equilibrium, synastry, beautiful music in your mind. For an example, let's say we're using the 10th house again. A person got business, spiritual first though. You might be around someone who's in everybody's business, they gossipy and stuff like that, and you around someone who's sturdy. They might be a little gossipy on their leisure time, but they're more disciplined with their business. They don't talk too much, or if they're talking about something, you can see that they be doing these things, right? 9 times out of 10, when you're sitting back looking at both of these family members or friends or associates or coworkers' outcome, you can see the person who was in everybody else's business, spiritual, that term for business, in that way, you can see that they're untrustworthy, and this is why they don't got no actual physical business. And every time they try to participate with other people, you see it fall for them. And so they good conversationalists. Every time you get into their business, they got a good conversation about how actual business didn't work when it was with other people. So yeah, good gossip. But then you can see the other person who was kind of disciplined and stuff like that. And you can look at them and see how they've been working. They can take care of their bills a lot more sufficient. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Terra Star C. I appreciate that for the bottom art. Right? So a person who take care of the spiritual side of their business first, right? AKA they handle business in their mind better. They ain't extremely gossipy and stuff like that. You can see them manifest that physically in their life. They stand on business more. See what I'm saying? So it's always spiritual, then physical. When you live backwards, the shadow government created all their jobs based upon survival mode for us like that. So you got make sure you don't blind yourself. All right, now look. So yeah, wherever you got Jupiter at, I mean wherever, that's where you need to act out the houses of Jupiter, I mean the houses of Sagittarius and Pisces and things of that nature. Right? I can use me for an example. I got Pisces in the 8th house, and I got Sagittarius in the 5th house. So Jupiter is on the cusp of my 9th and my 10th house. But since it's the same exact degree of my 10th house, which is 6th degree Taurus, we're just going to explain it like that. So 10th house. So the more I take my 8th house Pisces, my ability to connect with people behind closed doors, or my ability to dive deep into thinking about, I mean, my deep desires, passions, motivations, and how to get absorbed in these things, right? And occult and mysticism and stuff, and being aware of behind closed doors type stuff, right? Pisces 8th house. And then the more I take my creativity and my expression about spirituality, aka my creativity and expression of what I pay attention to, 5th house, about spirituality or having a meaning and reason and a purpose behind these things in a mutable way, Sagittarius there. And then take my mutable feelings about occult and deep stuff that I can relate to others, Pisces in the 8th house, right? And act that out in a wise, or act like I'm a teacher, or act like I learned about these things, because once you learn it, you can teach it, right? And do that in my 10th house. Make that what I'm known for. You know what I'm saying? Make my 8th house Pisces and make my 5th house Sagittarius something I'm known for, aka, and that's me putting those in the 10th house. Make it something like a status. Make it look like it could be a business or something like that. And for the most part, do it in the Jupiter way. Make it look wise. Make it look like this is what I'm experiencing, whether I'm a fool or not. But make sure that Jupiter is participating through the lens of Taurus, because Taurus there, aka make sure I'm consistent, even if I'm stubborn. Make sure I'm practical. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I'm trying to make sense out of it. Make sure I'm trying to ground in things of that nature. Then boom, I experience the blessings. The 10th house and Jupiter gonna start giving blessings when I go through the ups and downs there. Gonna start giving blessings to my 8th and my 10th house. My 8th and my 5th house. It's going to start giving me deep connections. It's going to start making me be extra aware the right way of occult and mysticism, and being able to relate that and connect that with others, and not me being a psychopath, but me being a real empath to manifest my deep desires and passions off of that right now, aka 8th house Pisces. And also be able to express and get benefits and make money and have a status off my creativity and my fun and enjoyment. So what do y'all see my status as, and me making a business off of? Some deep occult, spiritual, 8th house Pisces type stuff that look charismatic, creative, musical, and attention, and bright and uplifting. 5th house Sagittarius. Or I wouldn't be able to make no money off that. Or I wouldn't be able to get no attention off that if I wasn't doing it. And since it's in my chart, and I notice if I do it, God showed me the confirmation. You see what I'm saying? Or if I didn't have it in my chart, I would have to do it some other way. So if I wasn't dolo, and they, what we do is how we do it. If I wasn't dolo and I was watching dolo and I heard him say this and I try to be what dolo doing but do it that same exact way, it wouldn't work for me. Now, if I do what Dolo's saying, how people are supposed to look at the Bible, not follow it, do it. So you look at the Bible and it's telling you everything people doing in the Bible. You don't do it. So when you do it, it's you doing something your own way and not following the Bible. There you go. Now you like, okay, what Dolo said is, okay, let me find out how I do it. So now you can do the same thing I'm doing, but do it your own way, your own revelation, and then God will reveal to you being in the same position as me. So we'll be doing the same thing, but it ain't what we do, is how we do it. So we're able to experience being in the same position, but you got there in your own path. See, your own revelation. Now you don't have to meet no shadow priest or no demise or no things of that nature. Because that's how we meet shadow priests and demise. Trying to do it like Walt Disney, trying to do it like Tupac, trying to do it like what's already familiar out here. So we only get crumbs out of it. You always get the maximum percentage level when you do it your own path. When you do it like Soldier Boy and you created the Superman. So anybody who created that Batman and the other people who created that Robin and stuff like that, where are they now? But if you type in Soldier Boy, he gonna pop right back. He gonna pop right up. You get it? Always do something your own way. Then it don't matter what do Soldier Boy do though. Music. There's a lot of people that do music, but it ain't what we do, is how we do it. So when you go your own path and do something your own way, you can do the same thing everybody else is doing, in the same position. Anytime you try to do something somebody else's way, you get caught with shadow priests and even if you do get successful, it won't be the maximum percentage level. And when we get scared to do it our own way, it's because we lack knowledge. So by default, we end up doing it Walt Disney and what they promoted on the commercials. And 9 times out of 10, there's always someone else who took their own pathway that's being promoted. 9 times out of 10, the person who made up the Batman and a Robin dance song and stuff like that, type Soldier Boy on YouTube first. Doing the Uriel, doing the Superman first. You get it? So when you type in their name, where are they now? You can't even find them on VH1. Type in Soldier Boy. Pop right up. What was that? Now, for the most part, your Capricorn and your Aquarius house, right? Your Capricorn and your Aquarius house and Saturn is where you need to use more discipline, structure, and status. So this is where you got to have a little Saturn, and that's when the sun is most furthest away from us, that's the Saturn sun. When the sun get emitted there. Sometimes that's the most egotistical one, way beyond which I be calling ego one. You kind of gotta have an ego. So let's separate that word ego because it got baggage to it. Let's say you gotta force yourself to play the part, even if you're not that part, even if you gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta be serious about that house. Let's say you got that Saturn energy in a musical house, where musical talents is most prevalent, like the 2nd, 5th, or the 12th house. You gotta, and let's say you terrible at music, you still gotta have Saturn there, and you have to use wherever house you got Capricorn and Aquarius at to put it in that Saturn house. And let's say Saturn is in 2nd or the 5th or the 12th house, so it deals with music. You got, even if you get talked down on and spit on, like the Jews back in the day, everybody saying you terrible at this, you got to force yourself seriousness. You got to force yourself discipline to learn, and you'll reach a position where can nobody knock you out that position, and you'll be seeing people come and go that once upon a time you might have looked at them like they was better than you, but that time you went through that frustration of not being as good made you be better than everybody and went overboard, so you could have confirmation to get rid of that insecure feeling now. Because you'll be better than people with that still insecure feeling. And that insecure feeling, since you went overboard, that insecure feeling still make you go extremely overboard to be better than others without knowing you better than them yet. And once you go through a lot of those situations, God be giving you all kind of confirmation. Like, you could calm down, child. And you could get rid of that insecure thought too. Because that one, you already went so overboard. I owe you and some. You could relax, child. You ain't even got to protect yourself anymore. I'm giving everything to you. You already the vessel. And I'm sorry for even talking so long, y'all, because we 2 hours in, but this lecture was important. So I apologize. We'll do an open panel tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna get ready and stuff like that. Hit the road in probably a week or so. You know what I'm saying? And start getting serious in this stuff in person and get these buildings and stuff like that. I got to get this stuff working. But this, I don't want to make this me saying that like this ain't important. This is the main objective right here. What we doing now? You know what I'm saying? But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. It'd even better with it. It'd be even better with a team. That's all I'm saying. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna add y'all to tonight. That's all the tonight. Tonight gonna be about this live stream and other things. You ask me anything and then break down your ascendant and shit. We just won't break it down and so some spiritual shit. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all stay spiritually protected until then. Don't go no further than that. Don't go no further than that. That's it.